morning, everybody. I hope you all are having a great day today. And today we're going to be doing a folio using this beautiful card kit over by Tres Jolie. I will have all the links down below to all of the kits that are the February 2026 kits. And any other items that I bring in, if they're still available from past kits, I will definitely link them below for you. So today we're going to be using this card kit, and we're going to be making a folio using these wonderful photo 4x10, I think they're 4x10, yeah, little photo inserts. And so these are really nice because you can have your your photos, and you can stick them in, and you can stick in several of them if you want. And if you want, you can cut them down, do whatever you want. And I just think this is going to be so fun. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 4.5 by 10 3/4, and then you're going to need one that is 2 by 10 3/4. Now, for a folio, usually I don't do chipboard pieces, but I really want this to be a stronger folio, so I thought using chipboard might be a good option. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 papers that are cut at 7 by 12, and then another one that is cut at 6.5 by 12. And we're going to go ahead and place tape on this side, and then put these 2 pieces together, and then add our chipboard pieces right in the center here, just like this. Okay, now if you're a seasoned mini album maker or folio maker, you know how to do this. If you are not, then you can follow the tutorial. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start our mini album, and you're going to place a 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch tape on one side of your mats. Now these are the covers that we're making for the chipboard album, and you saw I just put a little strip of tape right on the edge of that piece. Now you can either do the 7.5, or the 7 by 12 piece, or the 6.5 by 12 piece. And then you're going to go ahead and just take that off, place some glue on top of there. And I do this, you don't have to, or you could just use glue. You don't have to use tape on here. And then I just go ahead and place my top piece on top of there and burnish that down really good. Okay, so again, you're placing the 7 by 12 piece on top of the 6.5 by 12 piece, and this is going to be the cover for the base for our little folio. Okay, and this is going to be so cute. Now again, I usually don't use chipboard for my folios, but I really wanted this one to be strong because I'm going to put I want it to, really kind of last, and I want it for some photos of my walks and stuff that I do, and I take photos of nature things. So now that you have cut out your chipboard pieces, you're going to place glue on the spine one, and you're going to go ahead and place that spine right on top of that the seam. Okay, so I usually grab my ruler, and just so everything stays straight, I place it at the bottom, and I leave about usually maybe a 1 inch a 1 inch border around all of my paper, so that way it can fold in easily. If you don't have a 1 inch border, at least try to get at least a 3/4 inch border. Okay, and then when I put my next piece down, that piece is going to be about 1/8 of an inch apart from your spine. Okay, and that's another reason why I use a sewing ruler like this. You can just pick those up over at Walmart, and it's just good. It helps you gauge a little bit better because it's clear and see-through, and I love being able to see through to the paper, so I know where my measurements are. So here I'm just placing the next piece down. Now again, our chipboard pieces are they are 4.5 by 10 3/4, and you're just going to go ahead and burnish all of that in really well. Okay, and I usually flip it over, and then I grab my little spatula or whatever you're using, and the scraper, and I just go ahead and burnish everything in really, really well. Now, the scraper that I'm using is from Pampered Chef, but you can use any scraper you have. You pick up one from the Walmart or from your, grocery store. So, and now I'm just grabbing my bone folder and I'm going around the edges of my chipboard. This is to just kind of prepare the paper for bending and folding without it cracking. So you want to go ahead and do that. And then where your lines intersect, that's where you're going to cut. It's kind of like you're kind of scoring that area there. So make sure that you go all the way across, and that gives you some little score lines. And you'll just go ahead, bevel in your edges, and cut at that angle, and that will be able to cover your little corners there. Again, you just want to go ahead and create your own little score lines right there at the edge. So here we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm just going to pull that little flap up to the edge of the chipboard, creasing it. Now you can use your bone folder, or you can use your scraper, or whatever you usually use. I use either the bone folder, my fingers, my scraper, whatever. And that just kind of helps really form that edge there along your chipboard piece. And you can use tape if you want. I just went ahead and opted for my glue. So again, you're going to go ahead, just use your glue on that little flap. Place your glue along the inside, like area there where the chipboard and the paper meet, so that way it really adheres to the edge of the chipboard. Okay, and you're just going to go ahead, fold that in, and burnish it down really good. And I use a little napkin to just pick up the excess glue. So here again, you'll see me making a line across with my glue on the edge there between the paper and the chipboard, and then you'll go ahead and fold that in. And again, you'll just go ahead and press that down, and you'll go ahead and I just pick up the excess glue with that napkin. Next, you can grab your spatula, and your your little scraper, and you'll want to go ahead and just burnish that down. You can grab a spatula if that works, if you want to. And so anyway, and you'll go ahead and do the other flaps just like you did the top and the bottom flap. So here we're just going to go ahead, place that together, and there you go. Super easy when they come together. I love it. And I don't make enough mini albums anymore, or use my chipboard anymore, but I think I'm going to start making a little bit more now because I miss it. So yeah. So here we're just going to go ahead and do that, and do the other side here, adhering all of those flaps down and burnishing everything in. Next, you're going to go ahead, grab your bone folder, and where the top and the bottom of the seam for the in between the spine are, you're going to go ahead and just place that bone folder in between there and kind of just crease that. So you don't want to press too hard. Okay, so after we put our book together, you're going to get 112 by 12 sheet of pattern paper, and you're going to cut two pieces that are 4 3/8 by 10.5, and then that will leave you with one piece that is 3 1/4 by 10.5, and you are going to go ahead and sit them inside of our book just like this. Okay, so this is going to be the cover for the inside. Okay, just like this. So now what I'm doing is I'm just preparing the front, back, and spine cover for the book. And so that's the mat for the spine. Here is the front mat and then the back mat. And I did blue and then I did the pattern paper on top, so it would have kind of like a little border and some color on it. Next we're going to go ahead and do our closure. So you're just going to use some of your ribbon from your stash, or if you have some from previous kits, you may have some lace or something, then you can go ahead and use that. And I went ahead and cut it to, I think it's about maybe 5 inches, maybe 6 inches. And then you're going to go ahead and just glue that down to the front and back of your front and back cover of your folio. And then I got double back tape and just went ahead and stuck that over the top of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and place the back cover on. And here I'm just getting my glue and I'm just going to go ahead and place that on top. Just like that. And I just love this blue. I love the blue butterflies. The paper is just gorgeous. And I think the blue paper that I used for the mat, behind the pattern paper is also, I just think it really brings out those blue butterflies, right? I just think it's so pretty. And yeah, I just love it. I just love it. So here we're going to go ahead and we're going to take off that tape, go ahead and place the glue on top of the front cover. And down in the comments, let me know if you enjoy making folios and if you enjoy making mini albums and how long you've been a crafter for. I would really like to know. And now we're going to go ahead and place the spine cover on, and or the mat. And then I just wanted to let you know, I went ahead and left like about a 1/8 inch border around everything. And so if you want to go ahead and you can measure out your mats however you would like. And now I'm just burnishing everything down really well. And there we go. Our closure is ready and we're done. Okay, next you're going to go ahead and cut some pages down, and they're going to be 4 1/2 by 10 1/2. And you're going to score a 1/2 inch on that left-hand side. And you're going to do all 4 of these the same way. Next, for all 4 of the pages, you're going to go ahead and just fold that flap in and kind of burnish that down. Then you're going to go ahead and stick some double back tape to the flap, so that way they're prepared to stick down to the middle of your spine. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put on our pages, and I'm just taking off the double back tape and adding glue. And I just add the glue because, one, it gives more of a secure hold to your pages, and then 2, it also gives you time to kind of straighten out anything. It just gives you that little bit of flexibility, so that way when you put the tape to the paper, if you need to move it, you won't tear anything. So again, now we're just going to go ahead and add our second page. You're just going to line it up with the edge of that other flap, and you're going to go ahead and glue that down, and you're going to do the same thing for the 3rd and 4th page. So here we're going to go and remove that double back tape, add a little bit of glue, and then you're going to butt that up against the other one. And thought I had to put some extra glue on there on the top and bottom. So make sure you cover the edges of your, the top and bottom edges when you glue this on. Okay, next you're going to go ahead and cut your mats for your pages, the front and back. And I am just gluing down this piece right here because I want to show you that we're going to go ahead and place on the large plastic inserts, the photo inserts on top of this. And you can place your photo inserts however you would like. I placed one on the front of my first page and then on the inside of the cover part, and then I went and placed one on about the second page on the front. I did one on the third page on the front and then one on the back of the fourth page. So you can do yours however you would like. Again, these are clear, so you'll go ahead and grab it, peel off the back, and then stick it on top of your page with the opening up on top of your page. Okay, so we're going to make 2 belly bands on this in the middle part of our little book here. And you're going to need 4 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 10 3/8. And then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 1 or 1 1/8 by 10 3/8. Now I say 1 or 1 1/8 because it depends on what you have available in your scraps that we've already cut. So if you have a one that is 1 1/8, you can use that, or you can use a one that is 1 inch, whatever one you want. And we're going to set the larger one in the middle, and we're going to set the smaller ones onto the side here. Now these don't match, and that is fine. I'm doing like a mix and match type thing, and so we're going to go ahead and lay these down. And you're going to go ahead and take the smaller strips and you're going to glue those to the edges, okay, to the ends of the page. And I'll show you here what I mean by that in just a minute. So, like for instance, this one is going to go on this side. And we're just going to go ahead and place that right there. Okay. Leaving a little bit of a border. Okay, and so there's that one. And then you're going to take the other small one that is 1 inch or 1 1/8, and you're going to place that on the other side there. Okay, and I'm just trying to figure out, I think I'll put it this way. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and place some glue on the back and along the sides. And then we're going to go ahead and place this on the other side of your page. Okay. And this is just to get rid of some of those scraps. You can mix and match some of your scraps. And I just think this is a great idea to get rid of some of them. So you can go ahead and do that. All right, and just make sure that they're burnished down really good. Okay, and then on your larger piece, it's going to go right in between here. And you will have a little bit of a border, but you're not going to glue this whole strip down, okay? You're only going to glue down this piece and this end. So just the 2 ends here, okay, are going to be glued down just like that. Okay, and that is what's going to make your belly band. You're going to go ahead and you can grab this and put it through here. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, so for your next piece, you're going to grab the larger one, and that larger one is the 1 3/8 by 10 3/8, and that's going to sit in the middle here. Okay, and then if you have smaller scraps like this, we're just going to go ahead and bend those over And you're going to create little tabs on the back of these so we can have like a little bit of a room gap so you could sit your photos inside of it, your photo mats. And so I'm just actually going to measure that up, and I'm going to go ahead and cut just a bit off of these. So we cut that piece in half, and then next you're going to go ahead and just trim away some. It doesn't really, I mean, as long as it's about 1 inch or so, you know, you want to do that. And then we can fold these in half, just like this. Okay, cut some away, just so you have a little flap like this, right? And we're going to attach this to the end of our little strip here. So you're going to get the fold, and the fold is going to be up on top here, and you're just going to put that right on top of your little strip. Okay, same thing with this one. Fold that little piece in half that we cut. Okay, I don't know where I stopped. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and grab your little piece that we cut. The fold is going to go down here, and that is what's going to be glued onto the bottom of your strip. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and, again, let me show you how we did that. You're just going to grab a piece that is your scrap. Okay, so a scrap piece like this. You're going to fold it. You can cut it in half, just like that. Okay, and then you're going to fold it again to create your little tabs. Okay, cut it down just a bit, about maybe, I don't know, a 1/2 inch or something, just so it's like this. Okay, you're going to go ahead and place glue on the back. The fold goes to the top of this, so that way you have the flap folding upward. Okay, and same thing with the other one, except the fold is going to go on the bottom part with the fold down. Okay, you're going to glue this part to the bottom and glue this part to the top. This is going to be your little belly band holder. So that is going to go right in the middle, and you're going to have a little blue border, which I think really adds a nice little contrast to this. And I think it's going to be so cute. So you can definitely stick large photo mats inside of here. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead, burnish that down really good. Okay, grab your bone folder, and you can go ahead and push that up. And that way your little mats will fit inside of there. So your mats can fit right inside of here. Now, if you wanted to, you could grab one of your pieces that are from your 8.5 by 11 paper, fold it in half. These can be either cut in half for your photo mats, or you can make little photo mats that are doubled, right? And just slide them in here just like that. And how cute would that be? You have your little photo mats in there. And now you're going to do the other side with the same measurements and everything as we did this side. Next, I'm placing on the large plastic inserts for our photos, and this is where I had said I placed one on the inside cover, one on the first page front, and one on the second page front side, and then we did our 2 belly bands in the middle, and then I placed the third piece on the last page in the front. And then we're going to place the last one on the inside or the back of the last page backside. So that's where you're going to place all of yours. But you can place yours wherever you would like them. Now that we're done doing that part, you can now go ahead and decorate the front and the inside of your album. To start off, we're going to go ahead and cut our last doily in half, and we're going to go ahead and place that on the inside of the back cover. So right here, I'm just placing some glue on there. Going to place that on the back inside cover. And then for the second piece, we're going to go ahead and cut that, and you're going to go ahead and just kind of measure what you want, and then go ahead and place that down in the right hand corner, and then you're going to place a piece on the upper left hand corner. And this is just to use everything that we have in our kit. This was our, I think we got 2 doilies, and we used one, either got 2 or 3, I can't remember, but we used them all. So so if you haven't seen the tags that I created with this paper collection, I will go ahead and put the link here so you can see that, and they turned out beautifully. And so I'll go ahead and share that with you. You could also check out the playlist that I have here, and it says projects for Tres Jolie, and you can check that out and check out all of the kits and how I use them, and making other mini albums, other folios, canvases, tags, and other fun projects with these kits. So there's the front of our mini album, or I keep saying mini album, but it's a little folio. And basically, you're just going to go ahead and place your flowers on now. Now, I used the flowers from my stash because I ran out of the flowers that came with the kit. I used them all on our tags and stuff. So, so here we're going to go ahead, and I'm just placing some of these blue ones up here, and then I'm placing some chipboard pieces together to lift up the white flowers to make them a little bit more even with the blue flowers. And so you can definitely hide the little chipboard pieces underneath the large blue flowers. Petals and stuff, so that just helps lift up some of the smaller flowers, and it's just a great little way to add dimension to some of your embellishments. So here I'm just adding on my flowers in the corners. I just think this turned out so pretty. And then we're going to be using some other chipboard pieces from the store that are not in the kit. And I'll be sharing that with you here in just a minute. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place 3 of these little pieces together. Again, I'm going to place some flowers on top of here just to add, like I said, a lift to these little white flowers that I'm using. So I'm just placing it right underneath the blue flower, and then I'm going to squish that little white flower up on top of it. And then the other blue flower will hide the rest of that little chipboard piece. So there you go. And our last little white flower, and next we're going to be adding this pretty little butterfly. Now this is the last butterfly in the kit, so there are no more butterflies, and so that is that. Now this chipboard piece is a film strip, and I went ahead and cut the bottom part off so that way the 3-piece part will fit on top of our page, okay? And then the last piece is going to go on the back. Here are a couple of other pieces I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using some stamp pieces, some black film strip pieces that are chipboard, and then my dies. And then I went ahead and printed out some pictures that I'm going to add inside. So I have a little Canon selfie, and so I am able to print some photos that are small. And so I went ahead and printed out a bunch of them, and then I'm just cutting them down to fit inside of the chipboard film strip that I have. Now, you know, of course, if you don't have that, you can always go, I think you can get these done over at Walgreens or CVS, or I know there's online photo places that you can order from, and you can get some done there. So here I'm just placing some glue on the back of my little chipboard, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my photo down on top of there, just like that. And then just go ahead and wipe up the excess, and that's how you get your photos stuck down there. Now, after I got the photos done, I did go ahead and stick some double back tape to the back of that, just so that way everything is adhered together on one, you know, tape and or adhesive. And then I go ahead and I went ahead and placed it down. Okay, so I went ahead and added my picture to this last piece that was on that we cut out from the film strip. And then now what I'm doing is I'm using those little stamp chipboard pieces to add some smaller photos on them. And there's some of flowers, there's some of birds and things like that. I don't know if you guys like to take pictures of nature things, or, you know, but I guess I don't know. I love taking pictures of my nature walks, and so I have tons of photos that I take of like flowers and butterflies and birds and all kinds of different things, trees, and just something that I think is like really neat. If I see like a little rabbit or a squirrel up in the tree, just something that's, you know, kind of stands out to me for that day or that time that I'm walking. And so I decided to go ahead and make, you know, this little book. And I have an idea. I think I'm going to make another one, and then just keep on doing that throughout the years that I've taken different photos through my little walks that I've done. And I usually walk about, you know, a couple of miles. I try to reach 3 miles, but like I said, I'm building that up again to do about 3 to 4 miles a day like I was doing before. So yeah, right now I'm down to like almost 2 miles so a day, which is pretty good. And then I do my other exercises. Now I put my photos inside of the black little film strips. Now these photos are smaller, and again, I'm just going to tuck these underneath the flowers and put these on the front. I just thought that black would make them stand out, and especially against the blue and the blue and white. And I just think that they will really add a beautiful contrast to the front of the book. So I went ahead and did that, and I will put the link down below for both of the film strips, the larger one and the smaller one from the shop. These are just wonderful to use. I absolutely love them. These film strips are great for mini albums, scrapbook pages, layouts, you know, any type, even cards. Cards are perfect for them. Next, we're going to go ahead and use, these are the inserts, or the little chipboard pieces that were in between the larger film strip that we used, and I thought that these would be really neat to use as a little accent on top of our belly band. And so I'm gluing some photos to the front of these, and then we're going to go ahead and cut around them, and then we'll glue them down to the belly band. And I don't know, I mean, I just thought it was a great use for these little pieces. and just to utilize everything that you get in your kit or that you have in your stash. Just a great way to utilize stuff. Okay, y'all, so we're done with our book, and look at how cute this turned out. And I used some chipboard from the shop, which is like a butterfly swirl. I'll put the link down below. It is so pretty. And we cut it up, and I did two separate parts, one here and then one up here. And I just went ahead and placed white glitter on top of it. I used some blue flowers that I had in my stash because the other ones we used on tags and stuff on previous projects. So I went ahead and did that and added some of these little white flowers. Here is the one butterfly that I had left. I used some of these film strip chipboard pieces that are also in the shop that I just absolutely love. And these are pictures that I take on my walk. So I go for walks pretty much every day. I should say I kind of got out of my schedule once we moved, and I'm trying to get back into it again. I do walk a couple of times a week or so, but lately I've been busy with, helping my daughter move. So I am getting my exercise in, but yeah, so I take walks all the time, and I usually take photos of just the nature things that I see. Like when I go visit my dad, we go on this one trail that has lots of beautiful like birds and trees and all kinds of different animals. And we saw deer one time, and so here's a deer here. I don't know if y'all can see that. And then they're here. So I got up really not close, but kind of close enough to take some really good photos of the deers, and I put them in this little film strip here. And then here's one, I know you can't see it, but it's a little squirrel on a tree. And then here is one of a bridge that we go over, we walk over. Here's a lake with some ducks on it, some little turtles, and another part of the path that we walk. This is the little river that goes through there. It's a creek. And then on the inside, what we did is we used those plastic sheets to place our photos inside. And what I did was I made some really large tags to fit inside, and then went ahead and grabbed my die that I had. Now I don't remember where I got this die, but it looks like a little film strip. And so I went ahead and printed out some photos of my dad and his dog Annie, and some of the little scenic, areas. This is the mountains up in Colorado that we, when we walk through this path, it has some, like I said, some really pretty scenic routes, yeah. And so, and then here is another path that we walk down. Here's me and my dad. And then here is me standing next to this big tree down here. And you turn the page, and then this is my mom's rose garden. Now, my mom passed away a few years ago. She passed away from having COVID. And so these are still her roses. And so I took pictures of them, and there was like a little bee pollinating. And so I thought it would be really cool to take some pictures of the bee pollinating in the rose. And so, yeah. And then here's a little ladybug. Here's I don't know. It's not a hawk. I don't know. It might be a hawk. I don't know. But it was so pretty when I was on one of my walks. It was just sitting on the fence. I was walking down the block, and it just landed on this fence and was watching me. And so I took a picture of it, and I thought it was really cool. And then here's a butterfly on some flowers. Now, all of these do pull out, so you could definitely, add some paper, or go ahead and you could paper the back, or you could journal on the back and, just say, oh, this is from, a lot of these pictures are from like 2022, between 2022 and 2023. Here we used the little, inserts that were inside of the film strip, I went ahead and took those out and then put photos on them and then added them on our belly band. And then here is the little booklets. Now the little booklets I didn't add photos to yet, but I am going to be adding some photos to those. And then, so it was really super easy to make these little photos. You could also just stick your photo mats in there. So if you have some photo mats, you could definitely just stick some of those inside. I didn't paper them yet, but you could definitely stick those inside, just like that. And so there you go. And then on this side here, we have another little strip here. This one I actually glued down and I didn't make it into a big tag like this. And then I added a little, one of the chipboard stamps from the shop, added a little picture to it, and then went ahead and added my photos. Now this turtle down here, that is actually my turtle. That's Buddy. And when we first found him, he was literally like this big around, you guys, like almost like $half size. And he is now, I don't even know, like he's like this big. So he's pretty big and he's just so super fun to watch. And then here's a frog that I took a photo of that I found in our backyard. And then another little squirrel. And then on my dad and I, when we go walking in Colorado down the path that he goes down, there's all kinds of geese, and these geese had babies, and so I went ahead and took pictures of them, and I just thought that they were so cute. They were so cute. And then of course of the little crane that's right here. I love that. And then here on this one, some more photos of the creek that we walked down and a bird. And yeah, I just thought I'd share these. Some more flowers, wildflowers growing out. And then here is a picture of, again, the deer. And I just love these pictures. I think I might blow them up a little bit bigger and put them in one of the little books. Here's some geese walking with their little babies down here, and then just some flowers. And then I thought this was a cool picture. I actually got this bird like in flight, and I just thought it was super cool. And I love the shadow cast down on the lake. I thought it was really cool. So that is our photo book, and I just thought this was so much fun. And it's not a lot of photos, but it's like, you know, for those times where you just want to remember certain things, and like, you know, for me, it's my walking and, you know, what I see and stuff like that on my nature walks. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. I hope you guys liked today's tutorial. Thank y'all so much for joining me. And I have all of the links down below for all the kits. And thank y'all again so much for joining me. Take care, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye. Thanks for joining me today, y'all. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and head on over to Tres Jolie to check out their shop. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment, and join me Friday nights at 4:30 Central Time.